The Castle of Otranto stood like a dark sentinel against the tempestuous sky, its towering spires clawing at the heavens. The stones, cold and ancient, seemed to breathe. Each crack and crevice held an echo of whispered secrets, a symphony of longing that clung to the air like the scent of damp earth after a storm. The flickering candles cast dancing shadows, illuminating faces marked by desire and dread, a haunting reminder that within these walls, passion could just as easily ignite a fire as it could consume. On the eve of his wedding, young Conrad, the fragile heir of this cursed castle, met a tragic fate. A colossal helmet, a grotesque symbol of his father's ambition, fell from the skies, crushing him beneath its weight. The townsfolk would speak of it as an accident, a cruel twist of fate. But within the castle's dark heart, it was the first act of a sinister curse, a harbinger of the chaos to come. Lord Manfred, his father, a figure cloaked in grief and ambition, felt the stirrings of something darker within him. His son's death awakened a hunger that twisted his thoughts, turning his gaze toward Isabella, the beautiful bride who was to be Conrad's. Isabella, a delicate flower in a field of thorns, sensed the shift in the atmosphere. Manfred's eyes, once a source of paternal warmth, now burned with a possessive fire that sent shivers down her spine. "You are mine, now," he whispered, his voice a low growl that sent a tremor through her. The weight of his desire was palpable, a noose tightening around her throat, and she felt trapped in a web of duty and fear. The castle, with its darkened halls and echoing whispers, demanded her submission. As the storm raged outside, a figure emerged from the shadows, a stranger named Theodore, whose presence seemed to light up the oppressive gloom. With the bearing of a prince and eyes that held the depth of the night sky, he stepped into her world like a breath of fresh air. Their first encounter was electric. A mere brush of hands sent a jolt through her, igniting a yearning she had never known. In that fleeting moment, the castle faded away, and all that existed was the promise of something more. But Manfred watched, a predator lurking in the shadows, his jealousy a festering wound. "Stay away from her," he warned, his voice dripping with venom. "She belongs to me." His words were a chain, binding Isabella to him, and she felt the weight of his claims suffocating her spirit. Caught in a tempest of forbidden desires, Isabella found herself torn. Manfred's dark intensity was a double-edged sword, thrilling yet terrifying, while Theodore's gentle strength offered a glimpse of freedom. Each encounter with Manfred was a battle of wills, his whispers laced with seduction and menace. "You cannot escape me," he breathed, his presence enveloping her like a shroud. The castle, with its cold stones and lurking shadows, seemed to echo his words, a reminder of her entrapment. But Theodore's touch was a different kind of fire. In the moonlit garden, he took her hand, warm and steady, and in that moment, Isabella felt a flicker of hope. "I will protect you," he vowed, his eyes fierce with determination, no matter the cost. His promise was a lifeline, a thread of light in the suffocating darkness that surrounded her. As the curse tightened its grip, the veil of secrets began to unravel. Theodoro was no mere peasant. He bore the blood of the true heir, hidden away by treachery and deceit. This revelation ignited a fierce rivalry between him and Manfred, their hearts entwined in a deadly dance fueled by pride and desire. Isabella, caught in the crossfire, felt the pull of both men, each offering a different path. Manfred's kisses were fierce, a storm of passion that left her breathless, while Theodore's embrace was a sanctuary, a soft reminder of what love could be. The storm reached its crescendo as Manfred's obsession spiraled into madness. In the castle's chapel, he cornered her, his eyes wild with a mix of desperation and longing. "You are mine," he snarled, gripping her wrists with a possessive force that made her skin crawl. "No one will take you from me." The walls seemed to close in, the air thick with tension and fear. But Theodore was there, a beacon of hope in the darkness. His sword gleamed in the flickering candlelight, a symbol of his resolve. "Release her," he commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos swirling around them. Their confrontation was a whirlwind of steel and fury, a clash of wills as each fought for the woman they loved. The castle trembled, the very stones bearing witness to their struggle. In the end, it was not brute strength that prevailed, but the power of truth. The curse of Otranto shattered, and Manfred's reign of terror crumbled like the ancient stones around them. As the storm cleared, Theodore emerged triumphant, the weight of the castle and its burdens finally lifted from his shoulders. With the curse lifted, the Castle of Otranto began to breathe anew. Theodore and Isabella stood together on the battlements, the dawn painting the sky. Their love, forged in the fires of despair, had emerged unscathed. As Theodore grasped Isabella's hand, his touch was both gentle and firm, a promise of protection and love. "This is our home now," he said, his voice filled with a newfound strength, "and our future." Isabella smiled, her heart light for the first time in what felt like an eternity. "Together," she whispered, leaning into his embrace, the warmth of his body, a shield against the darkness that had threatened to consume her, always. In that moment, the castle transformed from a prison into a sanctuary, a place where love could flourish, free from the shadows of the past.